Give praise. Give praise. Give praise. Give praise. Give praise. Give praise for all that is. There will never ever be.
There will never ever be another day just like this day. So let's give praise now. There will never ever be another day just like this day. So let's give praise now.
Selah, 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 for all that is. Ashe. Ashe, 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 for all that is. There will never be another day like today.
There will never ever be another day just like this day. So let's give praise now. There will never ever be another day just like this day. So let's give praise now.
Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks for all that is.
Oop, hello. Thank you so much, Bobby. That was beautiful, as always. So, good morning, Cityside. Good morning. Good morning, live streamers. How are you? Hope everybody's having a beautiful morning. Thank you for being here. I want to welcome you to Cityside. I'm John Adams. I'm on the board of Cityside, and I'm a spiritual practitioner and hosting this morning. So, you know what that means. I'm always off script. So these guys will prompt me if I'm like really off in left field. So if you're here for the first time, we especially want to welcome you. There's a welcome card at the welcome table outside, so feel free to give us your information or visit the website and provide your information. Sign up for the newsletter. It's how we keep in touch. And please be sure to visit our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So that's a great place to connect outside of Sundays, and it's also just a great place to understand what's going on here. And speaking of Facebook, we are social media friendly, so if you want to hashtag and let people know you're here or check in on Facebook and tell people you're here and what you're doing, that would be awesome. So thank you for being here and thank you for doing that. Continuing to grow our community. It's a beautiful community, so I'm so glad you're here. We are about providing we embrace new thought and wisdom paths. We are practice a philosophy rather than a religion. And we practice a doctrine which is based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, the author of Science of Mind. And we are affiliated with Centers for Spiritual Living. We honor all paths to God, and we practice this thing called oneness. And oneness is that experience of knowing that life, love, joy, God energy is within, and not something that's out there somewhere. And so we'll go through some practices together today to really invest in that and really experience that together this morning as a group. We are about really providing a supportive community where you can explore your spiritual path and connect with the spirit and wisdom within you. And so to that end, I really want to invite you to speak with me our mission, because we really like to anchor that in the communal consciousness. It's on the flyer, if you got the flyer when you came in. For some of you, you may even know it by heart by now. So I know we're all starting to really learn it like the Pledge of Allegiance. So please speak with me our mission. We envision an empowered community that is living in a world of unconditional love in action. Our mission is to create safe spaces to explore and deepen our faith, grow in spiritual relationship, and connect with our authentic nature. And as I said, we are a social media friendly church, so please feel free to connect on social media and let people know about Cityside. Our theme for this month is a world that works for everyone. And for today, our own Reverend Aimee Daniels will be sharing her ideas around this, around your gift to the world that works for everyone. Your gift to the world. Your gift to the world. It says on here, I'm supposed to talk about my experience with this. It's so funny because I don't know that I know what my gift to the world is. It's something that I hadn't really thought about, so I'm curious about the talk. But I guess my feeling is that we're here to share. We're here to be a channel of love in the world, and we're here to figure out how to step away from those things that get in the way of expressing love. And so as our icebreaker today, as we connect with one another and say hello, and I hope you'll meet somebody that maybe you don't know, maybe think about what is your experience with what gifts do you bring to the world? Do you have a particular talent? Do you have a particular skill? Do you have a particular gift that you feel you share? And I invite you just to kind of go a little deep. Let's not keep it superficial. Let's immediately start going deep and share with somebody that you perhaps don't know. Oops. Live streamers, we're going to do a meet and greet, and then we'll do prayer and meditation. So you may hear a little bit of, I don't know if it'll be silence, but hang in there with us.
Back. All right, let's come back, please. So I'm Keith Jacob, one of your Cityside practitioners, and I've got a reading today from Howard Thurman called How Good to Center Down. So I invite you to kind of go within as you start listening to these words. To sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashings, with noisy silences, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. With full intensity we seek, ere the quiet passes, a fresh scene, a fresh sense of order in our living, a direction, a strong, pure purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning in our chaos. We look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kinds of people we are. The questions persist. What are we doing with our daily lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis? And where are our values focused? For what end do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure, and what do I love the most in life? What do I hate most in life? And to what am I true? Over and over, the questions beat in upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down. So please close your eyes, breathing into your center, which is the same as my center, our center. One God, one love, one truth. Allow yourself to just let go and center down. Allow yourself to stay in this space as I speak a word of blessing over today's service. This space we are in knows no boundaries. It is eternal, it is ever present. This is God. This ever presence is love. It is all powerful, it is all knowing. It is this space deep within. It is one with me, it is one with you. It is our collective one breath, one love. So connect with that breath. Empower yourself, empower God within, as I claim it to be true for all of us. I speak a blessing over Cityside, knowing that it breathes as a community, representing this love, shining this love out. So allow your breath to connect with that out breath, for it is we that make Cityside what it is. And it is our love that beats and moves the world. So we share this loving energy with everyone that is part of us, even if we think they're not. I claim a blessing over our world with this peace, knowing that this truth is really present, is really what is moving us. We let go of that noise, that chatter ever present. And I speak a blessing over Reverend Aimee, knowing that her message today is divinely sent and that she fuels it with her wisdom, her inspiration. And I know that each of us hear something in that message that lifts us, that moves us forward. Again, breathing in, claiming our power gently, gracefully, but boldly and somewhat loudly as we go into life, sharing our gifts. So grateful for this time that we get to spend together, grateful for prayer, for meditation, and the wisdoms that take us deeper into being the greatest selves that we already are. I know it's done. This word has been committed into the love, into the law that makes it so. It is already done. So we simply let it go with a smile and say, and so it is.
Good morning. Reverend Aimee had a special request for a song that I had not heard before. And I'm very grateful that the music is in the very capable hands of Greg. And I am hopeful, I trust, that it's going to be the inspiration that Reverend Aimee hoped that it would be. If that's for me, don't answer it. Tell him I'm busy getting ready to sing. I'm ready to listen. Early in the morning, lying in my bed, thinking about the dreams I had. It just was fading fast, noticing the music in each scene and the peace beyond the world. I recall that I couldn't dwell on what was wrong, couldn't care what had gone. The message on the stereo was strong, singing one day the pain goes, and one day we can see that what really matters in life or in dreams is the music of love we hear in each scene. And I'm ready to listen now. I've heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me, walking through the open door. Now I'm ready to listen, Lord. I am ready to listen, Lord. I dreamed we were old and very sad. We were lost with no memory, fearing the dance of grief when painted on the sorrow in our hearts. When suddenly a voice of love was heard, and it touched us one by one. The memories began to come of who we were in God, and we began to shine. We watched all the pain go, for now we could see that really matters in life or in dreams is the music of love that's in each scene. And I'm ready to listen now. I've heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me, and now I'm willing to be so much more. I am ready to listen now. I'm ready to listen, Lord. When suddenly your voice of love was heard, and it touched us one by one. The memories began to come of who we were in God, and we began to shine. We watched all the pain go, for now we could see that what really matters in life or in dreams is the music of love in each scene. And I'm ready to listen now. I've heard it all before. Your way has been calling me, and now I'm ready to be so much more. I'm ready to listen now. I am ready to listen, Lord. I am ready. I am ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? I am ready to listen, Lord. Thank you.
I would say she nailed that. What do you think? I love that song because so often we're in the conversation about all the things we think we should be doing at some point, or all the things we hope to express, but we don't listen to the voice. Anybody relate to that? So I love that song. It's by Ricky Byers, if anyone wants to check it out. So I want to begin with a story. There was a samurai who was known for his nobility and his honesty. And he went to visit a Zen monk because he felt he really needed some advice. And when he entered the temple, the master was there praying. And as he was sitting watching the master pray, he felt really inferior. And he concluded that in spite of spending his entire life fighting for justice, defending people who were less well off, that he really hadn't come near to achieving the grace that this master had achieved. He said, "Why do I feel so inferior to the monk? I've faced death many times. I've defended the weak. I know I have nothing to be ashamed of, but I'm sitting here watching you meditate, and I feel like my life has had absolutely no importance whatsoever." And the monk says to him, "I'm going to be seeing people all day. If you wait, I'll instruct you at the end of the day." So the samurai sits throughout the day, and he notices that he's getting more and more impatient as he's waiting. because he's a man who's been doing things his entire life. And so finally, everybody leaves, and it's just the monk and the samurai. And so the monk leads him into another room and says, "Now I can teach you." And it's a beautiful night. The moon is just shining in the sky. And the monk says to him, "Do you see the moon, how beautiful it is, and how it spreads across the entire sky? And in the morning, the sun will come up, and it will be even brighter, and it's going to illuminate the landscape, and then we're going to be able to see more." And I've contemplated the sun and the moon for years, and I've never heard the moon say, "Why do I not shine like the sun? Is it because I'm inferior?" And the samurai said, "Of course not. The moon and the sun are different things. Each has its own beauty. You cannot compare the two." So the monk says, "You know the answer. We are two different people, each fighting in his own way for that which he believes and making it possible to make the world a better place. The rest are mere appearances." Love that story. So have you ever asked yourself this question, what am I doing with my life? I ask myself that question all the time, or wondered whether you're doing the right thing. And I have to admit, I think I do it all the time. I still do it because we're human. We can struggle to feel whether we're aligned with our purpose or not, right? Because we believe we have one purpose. I think that that is a very common belief that we have one purpose, and if we mess it up, we're screwed, right? But I actually don't think we have one purpose. I think we have different purposes at different times in our life. And I think that they're like divine assignments. They just show up. I think about some famous people who I believe had a divine assignment. One of the people who pops into my head is Brené Brown. She gave a TED Talk I think it was 2009. She thought she was terrible. She was so embarrassed, and the talk went viral, and she is a major influencer of our society today. She's a major thought leader. I think about Rosa Parks. You know, Rosa Parks was part of the civil rights movement, but the day she got on the bus and she didn't give up her seat, you know why she said she didn't give up her seat? She said, "I was tired. I just couldn't do it anymore." And so to me, that was a divine assignment. It just showed up for her. I think about my own life. I think one of my divine assignments was my nephew Brian, who lived with me for 5 years. Brian had been going through a difficult time. He was acting, and I don't want to get into the whole story of his struggle, but there was a lot going on for him. And he one day quit the job that he had and said, "I quit my job today, Auntie Aimee." And I'm like, "I can't talk right now. I'm out with people." And I'm like, "Come over tomorrow. We're going to talk about it." And he ended up moving in with me and going back to school. And I didn't know it when I said yes, that he was going to live with me for 5 years. It was actually awesome. You know, I've never had my own children, so I feel like I got a gift too. Like I was able to offer him a gift, but I also got a gift by having the opportunity to live with him for so long. But there's lots of ways that we can offer a gift, aren't they? Aren't there? And they just show up. And I really want to emphasize, like, there's no greater or lesser in God. It doesn't matter what the gift is that you're offering. It doesn't matter if you're a bus driver or a school teacher or someone famous. Whatever you're offering is a gift. So in the reading that Keith shared by Howard Thurman, and if you don't know who he is, you should Google him later, do it later. He was a famous African-American theologian. He was also a favorite African-American theologian, philosopher, author, educator, civil rights leader. He was an amazing man. There's actually a recording on Sounds True of him speaking, and he sort of sounds like Morgan Freeman. He's got that kind of voice, but he speaks these beautiful words. I really encourage you to go and find something by him. But Keith shared these words that he wrote, and I'm not going to reread the whole thing, but I really love the humanness of what he said. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis, and where are our values focused? For what end do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure, and what do I love most in life? What do I hate most in life, and to what am I true? Over and over, the questions beat in upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there's another sound, a deeper sound, a deeper note which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered. I'm going to pause it there. But Howard Thurman knew that the most important thing that any of us could do on a regular basis is to center down, to get reconnected with ourself, because that's where awareness comes from. And that's the only moment that's actually ever happening, is the present moment. And if you don't know who Howard Thurman was, he was this amazing mentor, Martin Luther King Jr. He was a personal mentor to Martin Luther King Jr. He had been friends with Martin Luther King Sr. in school. He also influenced a lot of other people you've heard of, Jesse Jackson, Michael Beckwith. He really encouraged people to come from this inner state, and he knew this about himself, that he was not meant to be Martin Luther King Jr. That was not his job. He was not meant to be out in the world doing that. His job was to take these leaders who were trying to change the world and to encourage them, to inspire them, and then when they came back and when they were discouraged, his job was to lift them up again. He was very comfortable with that, and I love that story because he knew that that was the gift that he was offering them. So I just want to invite you to think for a second, what do you know about yourself that you don't acknowledge as a gift? What is the gift that you are regularly offering that you don't even notice? Because John said it when he was up here trying to come up with something. Most of the time, we don't know what our gift is. You really need someone else to tell you, because we don't even notice. We think it's nothing, just like the story I started with. But we all have a role to play in the world. Thank God for Howard Thurman encouraging people to come back to their center. I think if he hadn't been there, what would have happened? It might have turned out differently. And this role to play is confusing, isn't it? Because we might have an idea in our head that came from the outside. You know, we're all told we're supposed to be successful. You know, sometimes if we're not recognized, we think, oh, wow, I'm on the wrong track. You know, sometimes it's achieving a certain level, but that's a very ego-driven way to look at life, isn't it? And I know from my own experience that it really doesn't bring satisfaction. I used to have I call it my glamorous corporate job, and you know what? I was unhappy because the inside didn't feel good. So we all have a role to play. And Eckhart Tolle says, to be true to life, you need to be true to your inner purpose, which is to open yourself to the emerging consciousness and bring that light into the world. So if you're focused on doing, you're not connected to your inner purpose, because your inner purpose is about being, not doing. So let's just breathe that in for a second. Your inner purpose is about being, not doing. I'm the quintessential doer, by the way. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. So to me, I'm like, this is music to my ears. It's about being, not doing. I don't have to achieve someone else's checklist to make a difference with my life, right? But the biggest gift, going back to Howard Thurman for a minute, the biggest gift he offered was his presence to these people. That was the biggest gift he offered. And think about your own life. Think about someone in your life who's been really present for you. Maybe there is an aunt, a parent, a friend, someone that you just always know you can come into their presence and you're going to be loved and accepted the way that you are. Everybody have someone? Anybody have someone? You guys are quiet out there. But if you think about that, that's an amazing gift that you can offer to another human being, to simply be present with them with whatever's going on. I heard a statistic this week about kids thriving in the world, and one of the most important things for a child is to have an adult who is supportive and present for them. It doesn't matter if it's their parent. So think about we all have endless opportunities to bring that presence in every day, don't we? So in whatever moment you're in, your purpose or your gift that you're offering is to be present to that moment. Eckhart Tolle says it this way. I think this is kind of funny. Your purpose is to sit here and talk to me because that's where you are and that's what you're doing right now. And if 5 minutes from now you're doing something else, that becomes your purpose. And he goes on to say, as long as you are unaware of being, you will seek meaning only within the dimension of doing and in the future. That is to say, the dimension of time. Outer purpose alone is always relative, unstable, and impermanent. So this doesn't mean that you shouldn't pursue anything on the outside, but what you want to do is whatever you're doing, you want to do it from this inner place where you have conscious awareness, so that a deeper meaning flows out of it. And so when you think about the gift that you're offering to the world, you want to be clear about what's the state of consciousness that I'm coming from. You know, what's the energy I'm putting out right now? And is it coming from a place of I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to prove myself, I'm trying to be right? You know, we all have lots of energies we can put out there, right? But if it's coming from that outer place, it's really coming from your ego. It's not coming from your spirit. And I think one of the ways we can know when we're in spirit is when we slow down. Have you ever had the experience of time almost feeling like it stopped? And just really being so in the flow? A lot of times, I'm sure Greg has experienced this performing on the piano. A lot of times when people are in music or they're dancing, it gets this timeless quality. But we can all experience that if we slow down. And if you can recall having been in that feeling, what did it feel like? Just become present to what that felt like. We also know the opposite feeling, right? If we're stressed, if we're anxious, it's likely that the outer purpose is driving the car in that moment, right? So we know the difference. We know what it feels like. But in the present moment is the power of the infinite. That sounds like something Ernest Holmes would say, doesn't it? The power of the infinite. But that's the power that runs the universe. We would call it source. Some people would call it energy. You can call it God. It really doesn't matter what you call it, but that's where the power is. The power is in the present moment. And this really moves the focus from the future, or sometimes the past. Let's be honest, sometimes we're in the past. But it moves the power from the future into this present moment. So often when we think about offering a gift or having a purpose, we're thinking about it as a future state, and that day's never going to come because we're always in the now. And so to just have an awareness of that. We want to be true to life by being true to our inner purpose, because as you become present to it, then you can move from greater spiritual power. You can source yourself from a more powerful place. And at first, you might not notice a difference at all. Maybe even what you're doing isn't changing, but you're doing it from a different energy, so it feels different. And then really our secondary purpose, whatever we're doing, whatever we're trying to accomplish in the world of form, it's really secondary. The more important thing is, what's the energy you're coming from? Where are you bringing things into form from? So the gift you're offering in the present is the gift of your awareness. So if your state of consciousness is settled, what are you bringing? You're bringing peacefulness. You're bringing love. You might be bringing happiness or joy, right? And we've all had the experience of walking into a room with people who are that way. And we've also had the opposite experience, right? Walking in and we're like, wow, the energy is really negative here right now. I had an experience this week. I was talking to one of my clients who's this very cool guy in his early 30s, and he says to me, he goes, I know I can talk to you about this because you're spiritual. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? And he was just talking about how he's been feeling angry lately. And he said, I don't even know why I'm angry right now. And as we were talking, I said to him, I could be totally wrong about this. I'm like, but I am just wondering if you are picking up the energy around you, if it's not your own anger, if it's someone else's. And so then we talked a little bit about just how to manage your energy, how to center, and how to come back to yourself and how to honor that. Because I think we are moving in a field of where there's a lot of negative energy right now, right? But we have a choice. We can bring ourselves back to the center. We can step out of that. And we can offer the gift of being peaceful because we know that impacts people around us. So I want to close with a story about someone you guys know. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to be sneaky here. This person, you're going to figure it out probably pretty quickly. He was born to a royal family in his country. He studied law before working as a lawyer, and he became very involved in fighting racial segregation. He was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities, and although he was initially committed to nonviolence, ultimately he formed a militant group that led a sabotage campaign against the government. This is probably going to be the giveaway here. He was imprisoned for 27 years. And he's now regarded as having been an icon for democracy and social justice. He received hundreds of awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize. But while he was in prison, that's really what I want to talk about, because while he was in prison, his way of being changed. Although he went to Christian services in the prison, he also studied Islam, and he made a decision to study Afrikaans so that he could understand the culture that he was trying to influence, so that he could be more influential in making the change he wanted to see in his country. And although he was still in prison, toward the end, people were coming to him from the government and meeting with him to try to figure out, because the violence had gotten so bad during the time that he was imprisoned that they were just ready for a solution. And he was released in 1990, and of course you guys now know it's Nelson Mandela. But one of the things he himself said is, I needed that 27 years in prison. I was so angry that I wasn't productive. And, if you think about him, if you've seen Invictus, you don't have to have seen the man himself, but if you have seen the movie Invictus, he was such a gracious man. Even people who had mistreated him, he refused to mistreat them. He really modeled love. That's really what he modeled. He really modeled reconciliation and forgiveness. And we all have the opportunity to do that. We all have the opportunity to offer that as a gift. And so when we come down to it, our presence is really our gift. That's the gift we're offering. Our loving presence is the gift that we offer to the world, because love will break down every barrier. When a person becomes a person to you, there's no barrier anymore. It doesn't matter if they're a different color, or it doesn't matter if they're a different anything. It just breaks down the barrier because the person becomes a person to you. So love is really the bottom line. Love is really the bottom line of all the spiritual paths, by the way. You can go read everything, study everything, and it's really the bottom line. How are you being? Are you being love? So in that energy of love, all is possible. So that's really what we want to invite in within ourselves. We want to invite moving into what Nelson Mandela and the South Africans practice, Ubuntu. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but which is the essential human virtue of compassion and understanding. So that's my invitation to you, to go out in this week and really to notice, what are you offering? And even if it's not a doing, it's more the being. How are you being? And how can you open yourself up more to just being a loving, positive influence in everything you do? So we're going to take that into prayer now. The amazing Greg. Thank you, Greg. So just close your eyes. Just take a few breaths. Whew. Just let go of anything that you've been carrying in your heart, anything that feels heavy, and just open up to this spaciousness, this loving presence of God, this loving presence of Spirit that is always and everywhere present, that is the possibility and creativity of life itself, this oneness that we live and move and have our being in. This connection that we have with Spirit and with each other. And I know my oneness with it, just as I know the oneness of each and every person hearing my words with this presence, this power, this spirit of love, this transcendent spirit of love. So from this place of oneness, I just know and proclaim for each and every person here that there is an up-leveling of the gift of love that they are offering to the world. I just absolutely know that as this love goes out into the world, it not only nurtures the giver, but it nurtures the receiver, and it comes right back to them, because we live and move in the perfect circle of love in each and every moment. I just know and claim just an uplifting of the level of love on this planet, and especially in our country right now. I am just knowing that there is just an up-leveling of kindness, of decency, an up-leveling of caring, and just a realization of our connection to each other. This is the truth that I am knowing and claiming for each and every one of us. Just knowing we are surrounded in love in this and every moment. And I am so grateful for this, so grateful to speak these words of truth, so grateful to know that God's already got this. It's already done. This prayer is already fulfilled. And with so much gratitude, I simply say, and so it is, Amen.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Aimee. And thank you, Greg. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is our time to express our gifts as gifts to our community. And so I just invite you to prepare your gifts. If you're here to give a gift today, if today is your day to give, just prepare that gift. If today is not your day to give, that's perfectly fine. I want you to just experience this moment of gratitude, this moment of communal love. And just know that you are loved and supported. And we know and affirm that your prosperity is growing and expanding here and now. And I know that for our live streamers, we'll put the text to give number. The text to give number for the people here is on the bottom of the orange sheet, 312-757-8111. And so I just invite you to take a minute, take a breath. We've been through this beautiful experience together, and maybe even close your eyes as you take your breath. And I'm just going to share with you the beginning of our affirmation. Just take these words in. Divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I give. Blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I give. And so if you've had blessings in your life, if you feel that there is something for which you are grateful, if there is a moment of gratitude, I call that answered prayer. And just invite you to share your gifts and offerings back to the community from this place of gratitude.
Now will your heart and soul say yes? Will your spirit still say yes? If I would ask you for what I really need, will your heart and soul say yes?
I say yes to that. I say yes to this beautiful music, this beautiful gift of song, and these beautiful gifts that are coming forward. And I just invite you to declare our prosperity affirmation together as we accept these gifts. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. Amen. So thank you so much for those beautiful gifts. We are a community-supported organization, and your gifts really make everything happen that goes on here. And so I have a few announcements. Speaking of things that are going on, got a lot going on. Also, just as a side note, if the basket kind of goes by too fast and you really want to take a little time to really fill out your envelope, there is a box out on the welcome table, so you can put your gifts in there as well. So feel free to make your gift at any time during our time together. If you have an interest in getting involved as a volunteer, we definitely want some volunteers. We actually have about, Aimee, 10 regulars, and we really need to grow that, because not only is our activities growing, but our service and our need for supporting this is growing. So please think about where you might be of service and sign up. Talk to Lucy today. Connie is usually here. You can also talk to Connie or Angie, who are anchoring that for us. So please feel free to visit with them. You can also fill out the Yes and card and indicate where you might be interested, and we'll start working with you on getting you involved. It's also a great way to connect. So if you're looking to connect on a deeper level with it and kind of plug yourself into the community in a more one-on-one way, it's a great way to do that. If you're here for the first time, we really want to thank you for blessing us with your presence. I hope that you enjoyed what you've experienced here today, and you'll make Cityside your home, or consider making it your spiritual home. Same with our live streamers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us who are on the service team, or connect with us online or on Facebook. And be sure to join our Facebook group and our Facebook page. In September, oh my word, I can't believe the summer's almost over. It just seems crazy to me. September, our theme is Growing Up Spiritually. Reverend Galen McDowell will be speaking next Sunday. I know, pretty exciting, right? Launching into a New Life is the name of the talk. Great speaker lineup for September. Besides Reverend Galen, we have Reverend Darrell coming back. We have Reverend Judy, who will be speaking. Our own beautiful Angie Hosley will be speaking. And, of course, our perennial favorite, Reverend Aimee. I know, really. I say yes to that. Mark your calendars. Following the service on September 8th, Sunday, September 8th, we'll be having a community meeting to discuss a bunch of things, just to kind of share, but also the primary theme is about membership. So we want to understand and kind of solidify what it means to be a member of the Cityside spiritual family. And so we're going to be talking about that and how that will work going forward. And members of the community going forward will have certain responsibilities. We'll ask you to vote on things, like we'll ask you to vote on the budget, and there'll be things to vote on. So, and we really want that transparency and that sharing, because it is a community organization. We are going to be having some study options this fall, and registration is now open. Is that right, Aimee? For Practical Mysticism. So Practical Mysticism is especially interesting for anybody who wants to follow the CSL curriculum. Practical Mysticism is a required course on the practitioner track on Wednesday nights. We'll be off, so Wednesdays, either in person or live on Zoom. We'll also be offering a 6-week book study on Julia Cameron's newest book on a love offering basis. That's going to be on Monday nights. So Monday nights, we've been doing book study on Monday nights, so this is picking up. We kind of stopped for the summer, so we're picking it back up again. And I think Connie and Carla are hosting that. And keep an eye out on registration information in the newsletter on the website and Facebook for that book group study. I know there were some other things I was supposed to talk about. I know there's the save the date. I want you to all just close your eyes and imagine that you're coming to this amazing fundraiser for Cityside. It's on November 1st. It's going to be held in a space that centers on Halstead, and it is going to headline our own Levi Christ, who is a Tony Award-winning singer I think most of us know and are friends with, and he's a friend of our community. So he'll be performing, and we'll have lots of other things going on. So it'll be a fundraising event. Save the date. We're going to have more information coming out on tickets and logistics and even volunteer opportunities. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have such a great time. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And what else am I supposed to talk about? I know there's something else. I know I'm forgetting something. So we, I love that we have the space on Sundays. We do have to, we are sharing the space with other users of the space through the Fulton Collective. So on Sundays, we'll break our service and have some fellowship, and then we do have to pack everything up. So if you see us starting to like fold up chairs or do some other things, you want to jump in and help, I really love the support, and I really invite you to just be with us and do that. But I do also really want you to take some time and visit, so don't shortcut that part of our experience. But thank you so much for pitching in and helping us fold up the chairs and get everything packed away. Yeah, I know. And a lot of you have already been doing that, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank you so much. And just thank you to the service team. We've got Keith and Don, who are on live stream, who are amazing. Dom, our favorite friend on audio. Greg and Bobby on music. I mean, really, right? Just amazing, amazing, amazing. Our own Reverend Aimee, Lucy, myself, just a great team. So thank you, everybody, for being of service today. And with that, I think I'm going to let you sing us home, Bobby.
Everybody stand and let's clap. Hey, hey, hey. You're the future, and you've come for what is yours. The hidden treasure locked behind a hidden door, and the promise of a day that's shining new. Only a dreamer could afford this point of view, 'cause you are a driver, not a passenger. And if you're ready, you won't have to try, 'cause you are the universe. And there ain't nothing you can't do. If you conceive it, you can achieve it. That's why I believe in you. Yes, I do. You are the universe, and there ain't nothing you can't do. If you conceive it, you can achieve it. That's why I believe in you. Yes, I do. You're a winner, so do what you came here for. The secret weapon isn't a secret anymore. No, 'cause you're a driver, not a passenger. And if you're ready, you won't have to try, 'cause you are the universe. And there ain't nothing you can't do. If you conceive it, you can achieve it. That's why I believe in you. One more time. You are the universe, and there ain't nothing you can't do. If
achieve it.
That's why I believe in you. Yes, I do.
You are the universe.